We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
and I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2145. Today, Jill are talking about why the heck would a seller choose to sell land below market value?
I know.
You too.
There's a couple things though. This is kind of almost a two-parter also. Like, why would they do it and why would they sell to us? And I hope we talk about both today.
I'm going to start off when we actually get to the topic with questions.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I think it'll make it incredibly clear. I will tell you this, after a couple of cocktails, when people start to talk about what we do for a living, which is happening more and more lately, this topic comes up.
This is one of the top things they go,
Yes.
well, why? What are you talking about? Why the heck would anyone do that? And then when we answer some questions, they go, oh.
And it's very, a very logical, almost a biological response and reaction to people who own real estate. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about it in a second. All week this week, Motivation and Confidence Week. Each day on the show, Jill and I answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum, and we take a deep dive into land-related topics by popular requests.
Okay, so Matt wrote for our question today, 2.43% of the properties in Florida are either listed on the MLS or for sale by owner, and that's not including the pending 2.93% if you throw those in. Charlotte County.
Hold on a second.
That's huge.
I want you, listener, to stop for a second and digest this. 2.5% of the properties that are listed in the state of Florida are for sale. What does that mean? Well, the first thing you should be asking, you should be alarmed. You should ask yourself, what's a normal number? How many properties should be for sale in the universe of properties in any given market? It's one of the things that we assess before we send mail there. And lower is always better. In fact, 1/3 of 1% is usually my threshold. If there's anything more than 20 or 30, 0.2% or 0.3% of the properties in a given market that are available for sale, I get very, very concerned. This is a prelude to something not good. And we will answer this in a second. Go ahead, Jill. Charlotte County.
Okay. And then he lists 5 particular counties here to give their percentages. So Charlotte County, 6.1%.
This is a bubble waiting to burst.
Yeah. Lee County, 4.4%. Sarasota County, 3.6%. Collier County, 3.3%. And Miami-Dade County, 2.1%. These sound, you know what, you say, like, oh, it's only 2%. That's a lot of properties, though. It's a big number. I don't know what it is normally. That's the only thing I really do. Like, I've already brought that up. What is it normally this time of year?
0.5.
Okay. I'd like Matt to.
This is like 5 or 6 times what it usually is.
We can all go back. By the way, this is what Jack does. Jack will go back and something like this will trip his radar, and Jack will go back and look at all the trending thing for the last couple of years.
And I did.
Yeah.
If you retain one thing, not in this episode of Land Academy, the Land Academy show, but in the entire 2,200 episodes over 10 years that Jill and I have been doing, I want you to retain this. There are 4 cycles in real estate. There have been since the GI Bill in the 40s of this country, since lending became a thing, which is, almost 100 years. The cycles are as follows. Recovery. Well, what are we recovering for? Wait a second. Expansion. You're recovering for something bad. Now you're expanding on it. Number 3, hypersupply. It's getting overbuilt, which is where we are right now. And recession, which is you're recessing from where this hypersupply, there's just too much property on the market and it's overbuilt. Mm-hmm. I am in the process of writing a book that's going to be released next month. And I spent an entire chapter on this because I learned about this a little late. I learned about it in 2009 because it smacked me in the face and kind of put a massive dent, almost a fatal dent in what I was doing professionally, which is buying land and selling it online on eBay. I met Jill and we put together pulled ourselves out of it without any real long-term damage. But it was because I didn't listen to this early in my career. Recovery, expansion, hypersupply or overbuilding, recession. The variable is not if these things happen or when these happen. The variable is time.
I'll say how long they are.
How long each
cycle is.
And the people who are in the lending industry, I would argue they're the ones who make the most money out of all of this, not people who buy and sell like us, not renovators, all of it. I'm talking about lenders in all capacity, whether it's a bank, private equity, mortgage broker, all of it. Do things to manipulate this cycle so they can control it. They might lower interest rates. They might increase interest rates. They might get real creative on your down payment or the length of the loan. There's all kinds of things depending on the cycle they're in to have them try to manipulate this. In the end, these four things are going to happen. We are in a hypersupply scenario like this. The last time it happened for serious was 2009. And Jill and I were in the land business then, just like we are now. And we chose to buy and sell grossly undervalued houses, which is what we're doing now. Mm-hmm. When somebody says 6% of the properties for sale are in Charlotte County, Florida, or anywhere else where you can pull these statistics, you better pay attention to the bargains that are that you're going to enjoy. If you don't have any money, you need to align yourself with somebody who does after you get a few deals that you know are grossly undervalued. We just reviewed one. It was in Florida, strangely enough. In the question, was it today or yesterday?
This was the question.
Oh, we're still on the question.
Yeah, we're still on the question. We haven't got to the topic
the mobile
yet.
home deal in Florida.
Oh, that was a question yesterday. Yeah.
That property those guys found, Chris and Chris, was half off. An accepted offer at half off. And that, believe me, it's going to go lower.
Oh, and it was Florida. It didn't even dawn on me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. There you go.
So I'm not picking on Florida today. This is happening all over the country.
True.
It's very unique for some reasons because COVID interrupted this cycle. Not interrupted it, it delayed it. Then the federal government stopped foreclosures during then, again, screwing with this cycle. But in the end, it's going to prevail. What they probably did was lengthen the expansion. Mm-hmm.
Today's topic, why sellers choose to sell land below market value. Can I take it? Can I push that forward? I do want to talk about this more. We'll talk about it in here.
I want you to just know that I don't want to see what happened, what happened to us happen to you.
True.
There's tons of money to be made here in the next 24 months. Let's put it that way.
Isn't that funny? People see some of these downturns as negative when you and I like, great, how much cash can I scrape together right now? This is when you start buying like a madman.
That's correct. Well said, madman.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you had some questions about this?
Why sellers choose to sell their land below market value. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of these places called check cashing companies? Somebody gets a paycheck. They walk into this check cashing company and they hand them their paycheck. Their paycheck's $1,000. They hand them the paycheck and immediately get $800 back. So they sacrifice cash. They sacrifice 20% of the value of their paycheck. They've discounted their actual money for the convenience of not doing that. There's a lot of reasons why people would do this. Maybe they don't trust banks. They don't want to have a bank account. They don't want it to be trackable. There's a lot of reasons why they do that. I don't believe that most of them are forced. I think there's a better way and entities you can sit down with and say, how can I avoid this? But they do it. Mm-hmm. Have you ever had a garage sale or sold something on Facebook Marketplace where you just don't care? I don't care what it's an asset, something in the garage. You paid $1,000 for it. You'll take $80. You just don't care. Mm-hmm. Why would you choose to sell something that's far below market? Because it's convenient. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to post this on Facebook Marketplace. Someone's going to pick it up. I've done this many times. Probably once a month I do this. I just want it out of my life. And I'm willing to take an 80 or a 90% reduction in the actual value. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's a situation. That's the second one, is something's happened. Why would they sell property below market value? They just lost their job. Somebody passed on. They inherited it. They don't want it. They don't know what to do. There's all kinds of situations like that too, and they need the dough, not just convenience. Now they need the cash, and they need it fast and easy. They don't have time to get an agent and get some opinions, and let's get a photographer out here. Let's take pictures. Let's put it on the internet. Let's field the phone calls, walk the property. That could be 6 months to a year. And they don't have time for that. When they get our letter and they're like, oh my gosh, what do you mean I can have cash in 2 weeks? Yeah, I can do 2-week close in this area.
Here's what we're experiencing right now as buyers, and we will be. It's a different version of the Florida question earlier. Well, I listed my property for 6 months and it didn't sell. And then I relisted it for a year and it didn't sell. And what do you mean you're willing to pay 40% of its actual value and I can close on Friday? The answer is yes. Mm-hmm. So there's all kinds of valid reasons why people sell their property below market. Here's I've accepted this and digested it now for decades. But before that happened, what shocked me the most is how positive they were about it. Like, oh, I think you're doing me such a favor. This offer came at such a good time. I've got this going on. They're not saying you're a terrible, terrible person. I hate this, but I'm going to do it. Yeah. Not one time have I ever experienced that.
No, it's like, you know what? Thank you. I know this is, it's good for everybody kind of thing. We all know it's worth some more. And I hope you go do that, Jill. And I hope you make lots of money. I've literally been hugged and said, I hope you sell this and make a lot of money. And thank you for getting me out of this jam right now. That's it.
It's a lot more acute. The thank you is a lot more acute with rural vacant land because most people are just out of options.
Yeah.
They've tried a bunch of stuff or they don't care or they inherited it. They just don't care.
And they don't live there.
It's unwanted.
It's something that's taken up. They need the dough more than they need that land. Whatever they were going to do with it didn't pan out or it's not going to work. They can't do it. It's whatever it is, fill in the blank.
It's really acute with commercial property too. I've owned this office building for 10 years. It's been half full. I've tried everything. I can't lease it. And I might be a person who knows who's going to be an owner user. Their company's going to move in and utilize it the way it should be. Or the same thing in strip malls. Or I've tried to lease out this RV park or a mobile home park for 4 years now. I just can't do it. I can't find the right person to manage it. Take the keys, please. I'll take a loss. I'm going to move on.
Yep.
I know how to build homes. I shouldn't have bought this in the first place. Those are the types of circumstances that we are solving as investors.
Mm-hmm. So that pretty much wraps it up today. It's usually a situation. There's something going on. I really do think it's a situation and then convenience comes second, but it's usually a trigger because if they don't need the dough, they're like not in any hurry. It's like, nah, if I sell it, fine. If I don't, fine. But when they need the dough, then the convenience kicks in, then it's like ding, ding. Everybody wins.
Join us tomorrow where we discuss the most common mistakes new land investors make. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. We are Jack and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.